Alright, people, happy Friday. It is indeed Friday, and time for the films that I've watched this week. It feels like one of those weeks where I've watched more than I actually have. I'm not quite sure why that's the case. But anyway, alright, the first film was this one from 1942. And it came from my Bette Davis box set. Also has Olivia de Havilland in it, as you can see from there. This is about two sisters. Stanley Timberlake, what she wants, she gets. On the eve of her marriage to another, she runs off with her sister's husband. The first of many betrayals that lead to disaster. And to a compulsively watchable brew of deceit, racial bigotry, latent incest, and violent death. Right there for you. Right there. It was a solid film, a good watch, a first-time watch. I like Bette Davis, I like Olivia de Havilland, and I gave it a 7 out of 10. Yes, 7 out of 10. Then I watched Dressed to Kill, the last Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes film. I didn't know that, and it was the first one I watched. But Basil Rathbone, Sherlock Holmes, Nigel Bruce as Dr. Watson, a bumbling type of character who falls into solving things and just bumbles into them. But I liked him. This one, Sherlock Holmes has to unsolve the riddle of a music box that plays a piece of music. Then there's two others that play another piece of music. Put them all together and you'll get a code that will tell you where something is hidden. 1946, an enjoyable film. I liked it. A 7 out of 10 I did. Then I watched Hound of the Baskervilles, the first Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce Sherlock Holmes films. I've never been crazy on the Hound of the Baskervilles story, but this is from 1939, so a good few years before. I liked it. I give it a 6. The only problem I have with it is Sherlock Holmes disappears for a big chunk of the middle. I know why he does it, the story, but not the same when he's not in it. But I'll give it a 6. Then from 1942, The Voice of Terror, another Sherlock Holmes film. This time there's in World War II. There's a Nazi voice over the radio that warns of terrorist acts and war acts just before they happen. Sherlock Holmes has to solve who is the voice, where is he? And again, a 6 out of 10, a solid Sherlock Holmes film. They're only an hour and 10 minutes long, so not too long to watch. But a first time watch again. I liked it. 1942, 6 out of 10. Also a first watch, a film called Devotion from 2022. True story, apparently, of two elite US Navy fighter pilots during the Korean War. One is a black guy, he's the first aviator or something like that. And it was alright, I give that one a 6 too. I enjoyed the aerial battles and the fighting battles and the shooting and all that, but when it was just the people and the soldiers going about their stuff, it lacked a bit of charisma that these films often rely on. How much do you enjoy watching the people in between the action? At least I do. But it was alright, give it a 6. Then I watched The Enforcer, 1976, the third of the Dirty Harry films. Not quite as good as the other two, but I still give it a 7 out of 10, and lots of one-liners in this. And it's Dirty Harry doing what Dirty Harry does. Everyone knows about Dirty Harry. If they don't, they've probably got no interest in them. That one's a 7. Then Sherlock Holmes in Washington. In 1943, another first time watch. A British secret agent goes missing with important documents when he's on his way to America, to Washington. Sherlock Holmes is drafted in to solve the case. Pretty much like the others, a solid film. Again, an hour long, 1943. Give it a 6 as well. I enjoy watching this Sherlock Holmes. They take no time whatsoever. Unlike this one, which takes like 2 hours. And it is Akira. Neo Tokyo. After a world war, an explosion. Tokyo was destroyed. World war. Now we have Neo Tokyo. Horrible place to live, full of corruption and just weirdos and grubby and horrible. It's designed beautifully. I love this type of world. And you've got biker gangs, you've got corruption, then you've got people with mind control. And the further it goes, the weirder it gets. But for the first time, I actually paid attention to it all, because it loses me sometimes. But I paid attention. And I give it an 8 out of a 10. I really enjoyed it this time. Based on a manga, which is probably 100 times better. But that's 1988. Akira. Then another first time watch. It's a Mad, 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 Mad World from 1963. A group of strangers come across a man dying after a car crash. He then tells them he's buried $350,000 in California under a big W. So off they go to find it. And it's fast paced. All these people going off their own ways. Some by aeroplane, some by car, some by this, some by that. And it's just a madcap, action-packed, fun watch. I give it a 6. There's lots of people in this. Spencer Tracy's a cop, Mickey Rooney, Peter Falk, and lots of other people that I don't recognise. And if you're American, you probably would recognise more, and you'd probably enjoy it more, because lots of American-style comedy, and it just feels very American. I didn't laugh very much, but I enjoyed it because it was a fun, fast-paced, action-packed, nearly 3-hour watch. Alright, so the next bunch, everyone knows, and everyone has seen. I watched Ghostbusters, the first Ghostbusters. Who doesn't love this? Anyone? Who doesn't like Ghostbusters? Anyone? But I'll give that one an 8. Assault on Precinct 13. Haven't always liked it. I give it an 8. It's good stuff. Very enjoyable to watch. 1976. Then Lord of the Flies from 1990. I haven't read the book. I haven't seen the film from the 60s. So I have nothing to base this film on other than what I was watching. And it was alright. I give it a 6. Bunch of kids find themselves lost, crashed, abandoned on their own on an island, and they got to try and survive as young boys would. It was alright. I gave it a 6 out of a 10. I imagine the film from the 60s is better, and then the book is better again. But for what this was, with no knowledge of those, it was fine. Didn't mind it. Then I watched Prince of Darkness. The further you go on in this film, the weirder it gets. But everyone has seen that. Great music, and as with all John Carpenter films, just very good. And the last thing I watched was John Carpenter's Vampires, 1998, James Woods. He's a vampire hunter. He's a slayer, but unlike Buffy, he has no supernatural powers. He's just a regular guy with a team, with a truck, some guns, a crossbow, and he goes off to hunt vampires and opens up with an attack on a house, which is a nest of vampires. It's hard fucking work to kill these people. It's hard work for them to kill one. Look how much stuff they've got. And it's hard work to kill one vampire. But it feels like a Western vampire film, because where it's set and everything, there's a master vampire and they've got to try and kill him, and of course master vampires are harder to kill than ordinary vampires and all that kind of stuff. But really good film, really fun, action. I like James Woods. I've always liked James Woods, and that was a lot of fun. I give that one a big fat 8 out of a 10. I gave Prince of Darkness a 7. And that is everything I've watched this week. Thanks for watching, and with any luck, I'll be back to do it all over again next week.